we got access to the restricted area.
2 million liters, 2.5 million liters.
And this is what the Qanats looked like.
There are two strange shapes here that it has a modern meaning because of the Germany.
The inner circle was used for children, the circle in the middle was for the bodies of women, and the outermost circle was for the bodies of men.
A really beautiful ceiling.
The Unesco won 9 gardens in Iran, which are in World Heritage with the title of Persian Gardens.
The wind catcher that is cooling down the whole building. They made streets here for 70 years. How many people can you fit in the car?
99 names of Allah written here.
This is the flame that's been here for 1,500 years. Good, very sleepy morning. Today, the German boys have found us a guide. So today we will see very many famous things, not least probably some famous kebab, and most likely, and some famous chicken.
He's saying that you need.
Oh, danke schön.
Cities like Yazd, Kashan are mainly because of the trading, because they were on the way from north to the south, from east to the west.
Okay. So people started to settle here for trading and so on.
Yes,
so
and then later they invented canals. You know about the canals? Underground ways to bring water from mountains to the city. There's like a tunnels under the ground connected to the mountains in the south of Yazd. And because the level of the water there is higher than, for example, here. So by using the gravity and a little slope from there, they bring water from the mountains. It's the place where I told you there are some underground tunnels that bring water from the mountains to the sea. Here was an access point. I think they have locked it.
Possible to talk to them? Maybe someone can unlock it?
Johnny, you are unbelievable. How you managed to do this all the time. We get access to restricted areas.
It's called insistence and being annoying. Or occasionally being nice. I've managed to ask nicely, and now we got access to the restricted area where the Qanats are. So this is a part of an 80-kilometer long water system that used to bring water into Yazd. So I've been dug by hand. Thank you so much. These steps are so tall.
So this used to be an access point. The water come from one way and go to the other place. So it was like a passage of the water here. And the people who wanted to wash their hands and faces before praying, they come here. In the villages, because people still use canals for the garden irrigation, you can still find working canals. During a special time, maybe in the midnight or at a very special time, that no one used the canned water, the people announced no one put dirt inside the water. So the water was clean while everyone was aware of that. And by that clean water, they filled water reservoirs. And maybe 2 or 3 months, they used the water reservoirs for drinking.
Okay,
so it was different systems.
The canals and the water reservoir, they had the same supply at least.
It's the same supply, but different time.
So now we are on a hellishly hot roof of the Bazaar. And here is a couple of interesting points. So as you can see, all of these structures are domes, and the reason for this, there's a couple of reasons, is it is easier to build apparently when you sort of build around and structure it this way, so you don't need to have scaffolding. And the second reason is there's always a part of the dome that is in shade and a part of the dome that is in the sun. So you have different temperature on each side, and it promotes air circulation. So that keeps all of the bazaar and all of the people shopping and selling their things a bit cooler.
Yeah.
So actually it's a nice feat of engineering to make everyone's life nice. So you can see all the domes from the bottom now. There's a huge difference in temperature up there and down here. Down here is the beautifully cool weather. Up there you are getting fried. It's like an oven.
Here is the place.
Now we're going into the reservoir, which has supplied. How old is the reservoir? Is it as old as the city?
It's 400 years old.
400 years old. So for 400 years, pretty much, it supplied everyone in the city with drinking water.
No, yeah, not for everyone, but for people living in this area, because every neighborhood has its own water reservoir. This one was more belonging to the Bazaar, the original part. Here was blocked. And those who wanted to have water, they used the valve. The valve was connected to the water reservoir. No one could enter the reservoir.
This place is huge. So apparently every couple of months they would fill this up. One day we'd have to let everyone know to stop using the water channel for washing and for all the other purposes for those days, the day, and then they would fill up this whole structure, use it for the next couple of months, drinking water. And then when they were doing maintenance, so this place was not accessible from the bottom originally, so we came from there, but that is a new addition. So they would come from all the way up there, and they would climb up and down on these little steps to do maintenance, cleaning, and so on. You would break your neck if you slipped. So, but presumably they might have been on the road, but then also probably not. Based on the German math, how big is this?
It fits for 2,650,000 liters if you have as an upper level the windows which you see here.
Yeah.
We assume that this is 50 meters high and 50 meters wide, and by calculation 2 million liters, 2.5 million liters.
Yeah.
They used to add salt rocks, some type of clays in different periods. Even the water could not be as fresh as spring water or water in the mountains, but it was their only solution to keep water not infected.
Apparently the big shafts that you see, the big openings on the sides, are wind catcher connections, which kept the water cooler and kept the air circulating. It's very cool engineering on how to survive in the desert, and to realize that this chamber supplied people for 400 years. And this is what the Qanats looked like. This is just like imitation of the ancient canals that they created for people to get the idea of what it looks like in here.
Humidity here is very high.
Yeah.
Okay, now we are in a part with famous Iran sweets.
The Iranian who come to Yazd, they buy sweets as souvenirs of Yazd.
Oh wow, so they made sweets here for 70 years in this shop. That's crazy.
Who start first?
Oh yeah. The brave man.
Brave man. The hungry man, to be honest.
Baklava is with the rolls?
This
Or?
baklava, rose, cardamom, ginger, different things.
Wow, so many tastes.
We use them with the tea. This,
It's called tea biscuits, no?
something like that. We
Yeah.
call it haji badam.
That's not tea.
This is delicious.
How many people can you fit in the car?
You say nice or ice? Like ice cream.
So now we are on one of the towers of silence. And this place has been for many centuries used as sort of a burial ground when the relatives would prepare the bodies in the buildings down there, and then a special guides, specially selected people from the religion would bring the bodies up.
The inner circle was used for children, the circle in the middle was for the bodies of women, and the outermost circle was for the bodies of men.
And what happened was they would bring the body here, and the vultures and other birds would come and eat the body and pick it clean to the bones. The reason for this being a tower of this sort was to avoid dogs, coyotes and so on ripping parts of the body off. So they will build a tower like this so only the birds can take it. And the reason is so since we eat animals throughout our life, now the bodies of the men can feed the animals and sort of complete the circle of life. And this practice took place until about 50 years ago, when it both became banned by the government, but one of the other reasons that is not so widely talked about is because the city of Yazd was becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. The vultures would stop coming here. So historically you would place the body and maybe in a couple of hours the vultures would come and take care of the body. But with the city expanding so much, the body might be here, for a week, 2 weeks, and it might be completely untouched, which became a problem, of course. So after a period of time, the government banned this practice, and that happened in the 70s. So yeah, about 50 years ago. So this is one of the newer towers that we're looking at, and the one we're standing on is the original old tower. You can see the buildings down there where the families would gather and prepare the rituals. There are different parts of the buildings, of course, for summer, for winter, and so on. So the parts that are located in the north of those buildings are very heavily insulated, very thick walls, and have no sun and not much of an air access, so you could easily warm them up with a bit of fire. Whereas the southern parts are the winter parts, the northern parts are the part for the summer. Well, you get the idea. But the place is absolutely fascinating to see.
The wind, going to the window, goes there, and there is a channel directed to to the building, go
Yeah.
down, and there it could be a water pool or some other things that by evaporation of the water, the air become cooler and more fresh, and then it works as an air conditioning system and the circulation of the air inside the building. Later we will go to Dowlat Garden, which has the highest wind catcher in Yazd.
The name again?
Dowlat Garden, and it's another UNESCO among 9 gardens in Iran, which are in World Heritage with the title of Persian Gardens. All of the Persian gardens have some common characteristics. The main thing is that they are designed in a symmetrical way. Both sides are similar. There's a layer of water in the center that makes it into 2 parts, and also there is a mansion or the building on one side of the garden, place where the ruler of Yazd about 250 years ago lived.
Now we are in the house of the ruler of Yazd, and it is a very pretty residence with a lot of stained, colorful glass, or fountains, and of course a really beautiful ceiling. And in this chamber is the wind catcher that is cooling down the whole building.
And it flies away.
You can really feel it working.
It's like a
Big. Wow. And this was like more costly, no? And all the buildings here surrounding was like for military.
Yeah, it was all area was belonging to him and completely out of the old town. It was not connected to the old town.
So do you know which building or which part was for which purpose?
No, not that much, not that details about it. Dome lines and shapes, but if you know Arabic,
It's Arabian.
you will
Letters.
find out that every square is like one word in Arabic. So totally 99 names of Allah is written here, like the words merciful, powerful. Shiite in Iran that we believe in 12 Imams, and the first Imam is Imam Ali, exactly after the Prophet Muhammad. Imam Ali was the cousin of Prophet Muhammad. So he is somehow respected in Shiite a lot as the first Imam. So this is Ali, and so these are 3 Alis here. And there are 2 strange shapes here that it has a modern meaning because of the Germany. Being here is because of the ancient signs and symbols.
They had
This
no.
mosque is about 700 years old.
Yeah.
Part of the mosque. So this
Yes.
sign is belonging to that time. So
Yeah.
it's shortly before.
Yeah.
And about the history of the mosque, I forgot to tell you that it was not built at once. It was in different era. It started from 900 years ago. It was a small mosque on that area. This one was about 400 years ago. It took them about 100 years to finish because of the tile works.
Yeah.
The gate was 600 years old. The minarets were 400 years old. And the courtyard was extended in this direction. So it was always under construction to be like this. It was not built at once. And this is the flower that God was making. Yeah. It's 12 parts and symbolizing the paradise, like the heaven having flowers and leaves of heaven. But the outside is very similar to the lotus flower you can find in Persepolis. Maybe it's showing the 12 months of the year because of the different constellation that we have 12 different constellations. Maybe showing 12, the name of 12 imams in Shiite, but maybe by accident. But this type of flowers you can find in different Islamic arts and places.
And
Yeah.
it symbols heaven and paradise.
The main religion practiced in Iran before Islam. So Iranian before converting to Islam, they're practicing Zoroastrianism. In their religion, they used to have fire temples. Like this place that we call it fire temple. And it was like mosques and churches in other religions. The fire inside burning is believed by Zoroastrian has been burning non-stoply since Sassanid time, which is almost 1,500 years. The Zoroastrian fire temple in south of Shiraz was one of the biggest and the holiest fire. And with the Arabs coming to Iran, they started to destroy the fire temple and stop the fires. They bring a branch of the fire from the holiest fire temple to villages near Yazd. Why Yazd? Any idea? Yeah, it was a deserted, remote place. It was not easy to access. So it was a safe place to keep the fire burning in the villages for many hundreds of years. Then they brought it to the city of Yazd in the home of a priest, and they didn't have a fire. Later in the last century, in 1930s, they started to build a fire temple and bring the fire, which its source was from the pre-Islamic fire temples, to here. So the Zoroastrian believe that they have continuously take care of this holy fire and make it burning non-stop. And about this shape, which is the symbol of the Zoroastrianism, it's called Farvahar. Actually, the symbol is much more ancient. Naming it Farvahar and using it as a symbol of Zoroastrian is relatively a newer tradition, because this we could find it in Persepolis, even in the Egyptian and Mesopotamian civilizations. But later the Zoroastrian took this as the symbol of their religion. What is Farvahar? In other religion, I can tell about Islam that we believe body and the soul. Body is the material, soul is something for the next life and something it's not physical concept. But Zoroastrian believe that every human is made of 5 elements. Body, which is the material, energy, which makes you can move your body, spirit, which is for the after death, for the other life, conscious, which is the judge inside everyone, and the last thing, Farvahar, which helps every man and woman to be a better man or woman. This head, like hat and beard, showing the wisdom. With his right hand, he's showing the right way. With his left hand, he's holding the ring, which is the symbol of the loyalty and faith. There are 3 layers here, and this is symbolizing the 3 slogans of Zoroastrian: good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. These are just interpretation. Maybe the one who creates at the beginning had nothing in his mind like this.
I'm not sure how much is visible. That's there. So apparently this is the flame that's been here for 1,500 years continuously, kept up by the Zoroastrians.
You can see the costumes of the Zoroastrian women, especially, it's completely different from Muslim women who are wearing black chador.
A couple of beautiful days in Yazd. We're finally leaving. Well, finally. I think we could stay a lot longer here, but these brave men, they are ready. They are ready to rumble.